Oh, touche, Franco. And we're live on the Cheese Room. Welcome, everybody. Welcome from around the interweb. You're joining me, the caller, tonight. And I have two illustrious or not so illustrious guests with me tonight. Joining me from all the way from London is the General Franco. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Yeah, it's an odd day today, wasn't it? Very happy with the Liverpool result, less happy with the Chelsea result. You know, I kind of get this feeling in the background that top four is definitely done. Not that we deserve it, but yeah, we've got a cup final tomorrow, so we should be excited. So yeah, let's do this preview and get ourselves in the mood.
Spurs are on the Wembley. Tottenham's going to do it again. That's right, isn't it, HG? How are you all the way from Vienna?
Yeah, no one can stop the boys from Tottenham. So
I'm
doing all right. Yeah, exactly. I'm doing all right. Today was a warm day. I'm a bit shiny thanks to the sunburn I got, but yeah, today was fun. Got to hang out with my 5-year-old daughter and some of her friends as we, zip lined all across town and stuff like that. It was good.
I mean, that is exciting. That is exciting. Franco looks less than excited. What's in your mug, Franco?
Nothing exciting. Some leaf tea.
I tried to get Brendan on tonight, just because I thought one of us should be slightly inebriated. But he's not having any of it. He's at a family party tonight, so you might get him join halfway through. You know, like,
hey guys, I changed my mind. I've had a few tequilas and I've changed my mind.
I hate my wife's family, so I'm going to come on.
Yeah, I'm representing with some pink gin. So there you go. So I'll have to be your amusement. So cup final. It feels a bit weird this year. I've got to be honest. It doesn't feel like we're almost in a cup final. I think we had possibly the easiest route to the cup final ever, didn't we? HG, what was that run of games? Could you just recap us off the top of your cerebrous head what our run to the final was?
Yeah, we started off with the famous bye against the COVID-contaminated Leyton Orient.
Good.
And then after
one of the best
that,
buys I've seen. One of the best buys we've seen.
So the best buy Spurs have done in 4 years. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then after that, we beat Chelsea on penalties. Thank you, Eric Lamela. And then we beat Stoke away on a wet Wednesday night. That was obviously impressive because not many teams can do that.
Yeah.
And it had that really good goal from Ben Davies. That was a really, really good goal. And then in the semi-final, we beat Brentford, another Championship side, at home with a header from Sissoko. So with Lamela, Davies, and Sissoko, getting us to the final. It is odd because I think deep down, this is certainly the first final I can remember where every single Spurs fan is thinking, well, if we lose by one, we'd have done well.
You're right.
I'm looking forward to the DVD. I can't wait.
We got to the final. Have you seen the club shoppers are already selling pin badges, mugs, and T-shirts? You know, Wembley 2021. Bought one of them, Franco? Bought one of them yet, Franco?
I haven't rushed to do it. No, it's because of lockdown. Otherwise, I'd be there within seconds.
Yeah, absolutely.
And love merch.
In terms of our opponents tomorrow, so Manchester City, I mean, champions elect. They're easily, I would say, the best team in the league this season. Last 5 meetings, though, I was looking at. I mean, we've got a bit of history with them, haven't we, Franco? So I think the last 5. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think we've won 2, drawn 1, and lost 2. So it's pretty even. So that should say we've got a chance, right?
No, they shouldn't. No, I mean, look, the game earlier in the season, you remember the hope that game instilled in us, and we thought, wow, what a defensive performance that is. If we can do this against all the top teams, great. Instead, we tried to do it against all teams, and it hasn't worked. And I don't think that's probably one of our best performances of the season, in the sense of we set out to do something and we achieved it. But yeah, I mean, I think we're leagues apart in terms of the football. And I think it will be an entirely different approach tomorrow as well. I think you can see that Mason's come out. He's saying lots of positive things about the ethos of the club and the way that we play. And it almost seems that we're going to go and try and play them at their own game a little bit, a bit more pressing, higher up the pitch and be a bit more adventurous. So who knows? It could go anyway. But I just, at the moment, if you think of the quality in their team and the way they've been playing in certain games this season, they may be at a bit of a slow start. But since then, I don't even, how many games is it in a row they won HG or didn't lose? It was just outrageous. They've stormed the league in the end, and quite rightly so. They're a very good team. So, we've got previous form against them, but I don't really think that counts a huge amount. And they are like, the League Cup is basically theirs, isn't it? They've won it so many times recently that they'll be very confident going into this game. So there's a chance, but I don't think we'll be anywhere near favourites. I haven't looked at the betting odds, but no. I can't imagine we're favourites anyway.
It's probably just the ideal game to put a bet on, actually, because you'll get really long odds on us. So, and you won't feel too
exactly
to lose. When you bet on us against Wolves or someone like that, you kind of think, that you feel just robbed at the end of it, don't you? But you're into nothing. I mean, they've not been brilliant recently, though, have they? I don't think. I think they scraped a bit against Villa. They lost against Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final, and then lost against Leeds as well. Terrible. So. Surely, HG, that means, Harry Kane, if he's fit and he's back in the side, which I reckon he will be, there's no way he misses a final, even if he's only got one leg, as we've seen before. I reckon we've got a chance. What's your view?
I mean, if you look at the teams that have got those results, I mean, Leeds, obviously, they do play a bit of a high-risk game. They like to throw men forward at the chances they get.
Yeah.
I know that even in the Champions League game, City beat Dortmund twice, but they were both very close games, and we all know the goal that was disallowed, that Bellingham scored that should have counted. So it is one of those things that, like, sometimes you feel that Man City look so good because everyone is scared of them, as opposed to, are they actually good? When people really go toe to toe with them, yes, they have good quality players and may well, hurt you a lot more than they would do if you don't give them those chances. But it gives you more chances to hurt them. And I think that maybe there's a bit of an aura about Man City right now, where teams like to defend and they think that's the best way. And maybe tomorrow will be an occasion where we say no, we are going to just go hell for leather and maybe go 4-4-2 and see what we can do, just to give their defence something to think about. Because we all know that the Man City defence isn't their strongest point, if only for the fact that the manager doesn't really believe in playing with much of a defence. He likes to have full-backs that play in midfield, and we all know that he played Mascherano as a centre-back at Barcelona for a long time. So it's he doesn't usually pick many overtly defensive defenders. Like we'll see, but we really do have nothing to lose, which I suppose is a good thing, because I feel like every time we go to Wembley recently, we feel like we've got a lot to lose, and we tend to lose it. So this time we can say, right, let's just put some attacking players on the pitch and see what we can do.
Well, I think we're all hoping for that in a way, but I'm not sure it was the right game to ditch Mourinho off on, because he's the master of a cup final, and certainly, he is. I think his cup final record's pretty decent, and also his defensive players has caught City out start of the season. Couple of selection questions for you, Franco. John Stones and De Bruyne, are they both out or in? I know Stones got sent off, didn't he? In the was it in the cup the other day? Was it?
No, he was in the league.
In the league. So that's what I meant. So the league. So will he be suspended for the cup or not? Can you clarify that?
I don't think so.
He is. No, he's suspended. Yeah, it's basically domestic games count for domestic competitions. So
that's what I thought. Yeah.
If someone gets sent, if someone,
I just don't think it matters that much. I don't think it matters that much, because they've got plenty of other backup defenders. To be honest, it doesn't. Okay. They've got loads of other better defenders than John Stones anyway. So
De Bruyne matters, doesn't he? De Bruyne matters. Is he going to be fit? Is he playing?
I don't know. I've not seen the team news. You'll find out tomorrow, but there's every chance that De Bruyne will be playing. Yeah, I can't imagine the same sense that Kane will be. I'd imagine that De Bruyne. But even if they don't call it, the problem is it doesn't really matter that much. They've still got a really good team, and they've got plenty of options that can fit in there.
No.
And that's the thing. Like we all think. I mean, certainly I think. I know Seb will probably disagree, but I think De Bruyne is the heartbeat of that side. So as much as everyone else is good, they don't play as well without him. I would think, like if I'm Man City and I've got a whole bunch of world-class players in my squad, and I've got a Champions League semi-final on Wednesday night, I'm not going to risk Kevin De Bruyne in a cup final. He'll be on the bench almost certainly, but I wouldn't risk him from the start because they don't need to. I mean, they've got Bernardo Silva and Mahrez and Raheem Sterling and Phil Foden and a whole bunch of others that can play forward. Gundogan has scored a bunch of goals this season. So I don't think it's one of the, yes, I would love it if De Bruyne doesn't play because I feel that they are worse without him. But yeah, Franco's right. I mean, we've still got lots of other players to worry about. They might even play with a striker for once. So I don't know, like Stones being out can be good or bad because he likes to make a mistake, but he's played quite well this season. So you don't know what you're going to get. Is it going to be, if it's Laporte that's coming in, then I think he's probably better than Stones, and that really doesn't help us at all. But City's team will basically depend on who they've got, who they're playing on Wednesday, because obviously the Champions League is their major target every season. It's the only thing they haven't won. It's the one thing they want to win. And so then they're not going to jeopardize their game on Wednesday, even if it is a League Cup final. They just won't do that.
Okay. So I've just read up on the team news for Man City, and Aguero and De Bruyne are both doubts. So they're not certain to be back in the side. But not completely ruled out either. Stones is definitely suspended. I mean, obviously Kane is our issue. Rodon's cup tied, and Ben Davies is definitely out, but everyone else is available. So that being the case, HG, give us a sneaky look into your lineup, which I know you'll probably publish on Facebook tomorrow morning. What are you saying? And then I'm going to come to you next, Franco, for yours.
Toby +9.
I mean, is that the wedding invite?
Yeah, obviously Reguilon will be left back. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Right back, I would probably still go with Aurier just because of the experience. We all know he's got a mistake in him, but I would probably go with that. Centre halves, it's Toby +1. Sanchez might be a good idea. Like if we wanted to play defensively, like Mourinho would have done, then I'd have Alderweireld and Dyer, absolutely. But if we do want to push forward, then we're going to need the pace of Sanchez. So it would be Toby and Sanchez at the back. In midfield, Højbjerg, yes. Dombele, maybe. Like, Man City probably aren't going to be the type of team that will kick him in the air in the first 5 minutes and make him less effective. So it might well be a time for Dombele to start. I think Lo Celso might miss out. And it's a question of just how attacking you want to be from then. Like, if Kane is fit, then you're going to have 3 attacking midfielders, which will probably be Bale plus. Then we don't know because it could be Lamela because of the energy. It could be plenty of players. I mean, it really is. I don't think any of us really know who will play. Son,
who would you play? Start. Who would you play?
Who would I play? Like, I really like Bergwijn. So I have like Bergwijn and his ability to, he works for the team. He holds the ball up. I think he's just a smart footballer. So Bergwijn would probably be in my 11, but I know that almost certainly won't happen. But I just think Bergwijn, if you're going to have Bale and his ability to conjure something from nothing, then great. But you need to have a few workers. So if Kane isn't fit, then you'd probably have Son, Bergwijn, Lamela, and Bale behind him. With Lucas to come off the bench later on. We've got plenty of options. I think it just depends on how aggressive we want to be. Because the City game where we played earlier in the season, we can talk about how defensively solid we were. We also scored within the first 5 to 10 minutes, which definitely helped us. So if we can somehow get off to a good start again, then anything is possible. But we've definitely got the players to put the ball in the back of the net.
Okay. Anyone who's watching right now, do drop your comments. I'm going to get to your comments during the broadcast. Do comment. Any questions you've got for the podcasters, please do whack them in there. And don't forget to subscribe. Franco, and your lineup for tomorrow. What are you thinking? You going gung-ho?
Yeah, I don't disagree with HG's back line. I think that pretty much picks itself. But I've got a feeling that he'll probably go with Dyer over Sanchez anyway. So I'd imagine Toby and Dyer. And in the middle, this is the problem, isn't it? I don't think Ndombele or Lo Celso have really shown enough in the last couple of weeks. But what are your alternative options? Sissoko and Winks. And I see quite a few Spurs fans this week who've gone full circle now. It's like people have forgotten that we were about a month and a half ago, we were saying Winks should never play for the team again, saying he should play.
I haven't forgotten.
No, I know you won't forget, but it's a really difficult one. I think that if you don't pick Ndombele in that position, then you've got to pick Sissoko, and that's just super negative, which means it almost dictates what sort of style we're going to play in. But we might need to do that against Man City. They'll play with one DM, Rodrigo, I'd imagine. And then it all depends on whether Kane's playing, doesn't it? Because that will affect the front line so much and what sort of system he goes for. I like Bergwijn the same as HG, but he hasn't played. You know this. He hasn't started a game for 2 months, since the 24th of Feb. And since then, his sub appearances haven't even amounted to a game. He's played 26 minutes, 24 minutes, 7 minutes. So he's just like, it's a big ask for him to be match fit and step up for a cup final. But maybe see him at some point. But I think otherwise you're probably going to see Lucas or Bale, one or the other. And then obviously you're going to see Sonny. And then it depends who goes in the hole. And I think there's an argument for Delhi. It's a big game. I think he would step it up and I think he would be a danger in there. But again, it's just that we've got loads of players that have just been out of favour for so long that you just think it's a big ask for them to come in and step it up. And he didn't obviously play midweek, so Mason didn't pick him. He's kind of sticking with the midfield three. So I don't imagine it will be too dissimilar to that, to be honest. And then, Lamela is a game changer, probably not in the way that HG thinks is vastly important. But, if we're 2-0 down, if we're 2-0 down, we're pretty lost. If we're 1-0 down in the second half, then Lamela's the sort of player you can bring on to bring a bit of energy, G the team up and sort of put us on the front foot for a bit. So I think he'll remain on the bench. And the question mark really is whether Bale is going to work hard enough against the Man City side. We saw in midweek again that he's one of those players that can put a ball exactly where he needs to. He's got that in his locker. And I think obviously Kane's amazing and Son on his day is fantastic. But apart from that, we've not really got that many clinical players who, when they're in that position, you think they're definitely going to score. Bale's got an amazing left foot, and I think that threat means that even if he's not putting in 100% for the entire game and he's not busting a gut, when the moment arises, you'd have 100% faith in him scoring. So I think he's worth almost playing just for that. So that again means we probably need to accommodate the lack of running that he's going to do. So there's a lot of things. It's a big puzzle for Mason to basically figure out in his first week as a football manager. Enjoy that, Mace.
I mean, go on.
The thing is that like if Kane isn't starting, then Bale will, almost certainly. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think it's like we've sat here most of the season and wanted Højbjerg, Lo Celso and Ndombele. We've seen it. It doesn't seem to work for whatever reason. There's a problem. We've wanted to see Kane, Son and Bale.
Hang on. Can I just
we haven't really seen it. Go
on. I feel a little bit aggrieved when people say those three don't work in midfield because granted, the games they've played, they've not clicked and dominated the match. But we've only seen that for, 4 games all season? Surely you have to give partnerships a chance to build. You've got to get... Surely, I think you need to give them sort of 5-10 games together before we can really judge whether it works or not. And I know that's a luxury you'll say we can't afford, but we can, because in reality, what we're playing for at the end of the season is Europa League. I can't see us getting the Champions League, although mathematically it's like that the never-ending, it just tantalisingly is always there, isn't it? It's just at the end of a piece of string, but every time we get in a position to do anything, we sort of draw or lose anyway. So surely there is the opportunity to play that system until the end of the season and see what we get out of it, and if they can play together. HG.
I'd agree with that. Like, I think if 4-3-3, I mean, obviously we have no idea what the new manager will want to do. But given the strength that we have, I mean, Vinicius will go, Bale will go, but we've still got enough players to play that 4-3-3, I think, quite easily. So it may well be what we see going further, but yeah, it's tough, right? Because as you said, if whatever happens after tomorrow, then we can start really thinking about next season, whatever that means. But it's... Yeah, I don't know. We could decide to be solid in midfield and have Højbjerg and Sissoko, maybe even Winks as well. Weirdly enough, and then just say to the front three, right, you do your thing and go Kane, Son, Bale, and see what the three of them can kind of magic up between them. I think that the issue we've had this season, we've had almost far too many options, and as you said, people haven't really been given a chance to work together. Like I do think, and I think that other people have noticed this, but I do think that some players have a natural understanding with each other, and that we haven't really worked on that. We haven't really seen that and decided to use it. We've just decided to play players based on who hasn't fallen out with Jose. So it is rough, but I think that the issue that we have with those three, certainly in midfield, is that apart from Højbjerg, none of them really seem willing or able to be the front one of the three. They all want to get the ball from deep and pass it to someone else who's standing 10 feet to the side of them, because that's where they want to be as well. It is a big problem, and maybe someone like Dele, who is much better closer to the striker, might be someone who could always be that option forward. I mean, play the ball to Dele and see if his flicks come off, because a manager now probably won't mind him trying it. It's the only way that we're really going to get behind this City defense, is if we try something a bit out of the ordinary.
Defense. I must say, you have been very consistent this year, banging the drum for Dele and picking him in your lineup. So for your own benefit, I hope he plays at some point before the end of the season. I'm going to go to some interaction now. Phil Ambrose says that Leyton Orient game is the most solid our defence has looked all season. Yep, absolutely, Phil. And thanks for watching tonight. Cameron Lewis, Sonny has a stonking goal record against City. That's true, isn't it, HG? I think it certainly seems to. I'm not sure what the stat is, but yeah.
Even if you think about the games, we can all remember them. He scored, at our ground earlier this season. Obviously, the games in the Champions League. There are lots of games he scored. I mean, the home game in the Champions League. We always tend to forget that because the away game was so memorable. But obviously, he got the win in that game too. So, yeah, Son and Man City seem to work.
They do, and he's just finding. I think, as it's pointed out here, Sonny finding form, has got another goal in him tomorrow. We have a chance, even if it's slim, just like me. Absolutely. Sonny has found some form recently. I thought that's the best.
I think that's generous.
Oh no, that finish he scored the other night was good, wasn't it? And then he took the penalty away nicely. Strikers thrive on goals.
Is that finding form though?
It's the closest he's been to form for a long time.
Right. Okay. That's better.
Yeah, exactly. We should be happy that he's at least scoring again. Right. Yeah. We've got one game of a goal behind him before we go into it, because he is very streaky. We've said that for 3 years on all the different
Sonny has been absolutely Sonny this season. Absolutely. It's all fits and starts. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. That's why he's not playing for one of the... Well, we are one of the Big 12 teams in Europe, apparently. But that's not why he's playing for one of the Big 6 teams in Europe. Assuming... I think we've covered that from Lucas. Daniel Markin says, we know there'll be a penalty or VAR decision against them. That's true, Daniel, and we can't wait for that one just to see Pep's reaction. Nick Dornan says, rough them up for the first 10 minutes. They won't be interested with that CL semi coming up. That's pretty much what you said, actually, in HG. They've got that semi-final coming up. That's probably a much bigger game than the League Cup, isn't it, Franco? Do you think City are going to take this a little bit easier than they may do if they didn't have that game?
I think the point I made though is they don't need to. They can rotate. And their second string is easily as capable. They've got loads of high quality players in their squad, and the Champions League is obviously really important to them. They really want to win it, and I think this year they've got a good chance as well, because they probably are the best team in that competition. They showed against Dortmund. Dortmund had a really good go at it, but Man City were resilient, weathered the storm whenever it came, and then won both games, didn't they? So, yeah, Man City can drop a few players, can move a few players around, and they're still capable. So they might have one eye on it, but I think, like HG said, that they can probably afford to change 4 or 5 players and still be good enough tomorrow to give us a good game.
Well, it's a bit like us with Vinicius going up top instead of Kane, isn't it? So, and Daniel also follows that up with, expecting Lloris to save the penalty. Yeah.
What would be good was to bring this glorious run to an end would be us winning it on some really dodgy VAR decision, wouldn't it? Like a real gut wrencher.
Nothing made me happy
completely
that season. The win against Ajax was amazing, obviously, and I mean breathtaking, really. But what made it even sweeter was the Manchester City, the goal disallowed was at Sterling in the like 90 whatever minute when Pep was like celebrating. I mean, I'll never forget how happy I was to see his smug head bowed down in horror. Greg Anderson says, this is a long comment, whatever happens tomorrow will be more on the players than Mason. The players need to show what it means to be in a final, and the manager can only do so much in the short time of has. Franco, Mason, so far, are you impressed with him? I mean, I don't mean obviously he's played one game. I mean, in the way he's conducted himself.
Yeah, no, definitely. He speaks really well to the camera. He does, and I thought that when he was a player as well. I remember him doing a couple of interviews, and he's always spoke quite well. It's just mad how young he is. The fact there's like maybe 5 players, I think, in the squad that are all older than him. And what was he, the youngest manager to win a Premier League game or something like that? Ever. Obviously not in the existence of football, but since the Prem, he is. And I am impressed with him. I think he's savvy enough to have come out and said all the things about, the way that Tottenham play and the ethos, etc., etc. And the fact that he came through the systems means that he probably does know all that and feel all that. He's been around the club for a very long time. He's a Spurs boy. And so in that sense, it's not a terrible appointment. I think I don't know whether we all thought it, but I thought we were going to have somebody lined up for this.
Yeah.
Same way I thought all the clubs, when they did the ESL announcement, had weighed everything up correctly. But it shows that like Levy has completely got his finger off the pulse at the moment. So yeah, Mason's not a bad appointment, and I think he's done well so far. And to be honest, I got asked about the game midweek. Like the first half, I was just like, this is just equally as bad as it's been before. But there was moments where we tried to press a bit further up the pitch, and then second half we did it a bit more, and it seemed like a better performance, the type of football that we want to see from Spurs.
Yeah.
And so I think if he can do that in 2 training sessions, he's had 3 I think since then, so who knows what we'll be like. But yeah, he's not had enough time to work with the squad to really put any visions forward. I think Lloris came out this week and said something like, don't just think that Mason's just there as a puppet. He's, just to be a face. He does have like a footballing philosophy that he's going to try and get the team to perform. So it'd be interesting. But either way, it's going to be much less negative than under Jose, isn't it? And I feel like the players will be able to play with a bit more freedom. So yeah, I think he's done all right so far.
And you just know, HG, that if we win this League Cup final, Jose's going to be claiming that as a trophy for him anyway, isn't he?
But it's his team, right? Like if we do go on and win, it will be the team that Jose had pissed off that goes on to lift the trophy, and they're only doing it to prove him wrong. It could be anything like that, but the last week has been so weird in football that it does. Like I've almost forgotten that Mourinho was ever our manager. Like the whole 18-month period seems to have just died because
Dave Bolton will absolutely be reminding you of it probably for if you've forgotten.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair to Jose, there were a few things he did that I liked, but none of them were in 2021. So he certainly deserved to go. Ryan Mason, to me, like I don't necessarily see what Franco sees with him being well-spoken and articulate. He can be all of those things. I look at him and just see an assistant. I see, someone's right-hand man. I don't see someone that's particularly inspiring, but that might just be me. If the players see him as inspiring, then that's it. But I think the point that Greg makes is a pretty valid one. Like, this is the chance for the players to turn around and say, like, we are good. Like, we are deserving of staying next season, because some of them may not be. And we, on a stage like this, I mean, it's being shown live here in Austria. The game is shown all over the world. It's a big game, and so let's go out there and do something. I mean, it really is incumbent on the players to leave everything on the pitch and understand that there are no excuses now. Like, Ryan Mason is going to say to them, what you're good at, go out and do it. I don't think it's going to be any more interesting than that, or any more convoluted than that. He knows what the players are good at. I'm sure as an ex-player himself, he knew himself what he was good at, what he was best at. And so I think he's just going to try and figure out a side that can work together if everyone is doing the best that they can. Whereas, as we know from Mourinho, it was all about the team functioning. And can the team do, or can the players do what he wants from the team? And I think that Mason is going to be much more individually oriented and say, right, we've created this team so that you can go out and do what you are good at. And it's going to be interesting to see, because like I do think that I think all of us think that we've got some very good players, people that deserve to be at a club the size of Spurs.
Yep.
And it's a chance for them to go out and do it.
Okay. I think that's the point. I think after 18 months of the team basically being told when they lose that it's because the team aren't good enough.
Yeah.
Like, I get the feeling that Jose's tough love just wears a bit thin after 18 months. And if Mason can come in and tell players that he thinks they're brilliant and get them to express themselves a bit better, then I think that's going to be positive.
No, I agree with you. Totally agree with you. Daniel Harrison says, got to stop Foden, and for the love of God, no Eric Dyer on free kicks. Amen to that, Padre. And could I just add on to that, if Harry's fit, could we just leave them to Bale, providing he's on the pitch? We don't want to see Harry or Eric anywhere near a free kick. Daniel also goes on to say, would like to see Bale in the number 10 role. What are you thinking of that, HG? Do you think that could work?
That's what he did. He played as the number 10 back in 2012, 2013 when he took the league by storm and we became the Gareth Bale team that season under AVB. Yeah, why not? I think the thing is, if you do that, then I do think you need to have players like Højbjerg and maybe Winks behind him, people that can pass the ball relatively well but are defensively solid. I just don't know how the team is built if you say to Bale, right, you are the number 10 and you can pretty much do what you want. Maybe you could have hard workers down the wings to help that. But Bale on the pitch, we all know, gives Spurs a better chance of scoring. I mean, that is it. Having him in the 11, we do have a better chance of scoring. So, yeah, if he works as the number 10, then great.
I mean, I've got some good news for you. Some really good news. Brendan's watching the show and he's clearly on the pop. Ryan Mason's Blue and White Army. Thanks, Brendan, for that insightful input. Just remember, you didn't want to be on here tonight because you were too busy partying, so we can say whatever we want about you. Lucas says, could we see Dele? Unlikely. No, it might be likely that he comes on from the bench, to be fair, but I don't think he'll make the starting lineup. Would he, Franco?
No.
No, I can't see it. HG?
probably not.
No, look, I think it's unlikely. I mean, I don't remember the rules, but I have a feeling we can use 5 subs. So if we do need a goal, I'm not sure, but I think we can use 5 in this. So if we can, then Dele will be one of the 5 if we need a goal. There's no doubt about that. But he just hasn't played enough. He's not really shown enough when he has played. But that there is always that thing with Dele is that he's good for a goal, and that's what you need. It's just a question, almost like with Bale. How can you build the team around that? Because when we were really good and Dele was scoring goals left, right, and centre, the team was really good, and he was able to just kind of go wherever he wanted, and it worked perfectly. And I just don't think that the team is strong enough right now, and so it doesn't work as well for him.
Yeah, I think if we'd have seen him come on in midweek, then I'd be a bit more inclined to think that he was in Mason's thoughts, but he didn't. So
no, absolutely. Maybe he's resting him. Rest up, Dele. You got a big game on Sunday. Alana says, absolute 0 expectations. Good. You won't be disappointed. Just glad. I'm looking forward to it. We're now a bit of an unknown quantity. That's certainly true, isn't it? Because I think Mason is definitely a different character to having Mr. Mourinho in charge. I mean, Brendan's just firing things out now. Yes, Winks doesn't even make any sense. Tom Lucas says, let's see Sonny and Bale get 1 each, finish tied 2-2 and win it in penalties on penalties. Can you see it going to a shootout, Franco?
No, I'm being super neg at the moment. The way I deal with games like this, where we are the underdogs, is just to assume that we're going to get thrashed and it's going to be embarrassing. That way, if it's any better than that, and we still lose, then it doesn't feel quite so crushing. It's a psychological mechanism which I've developed over years of being a Spurs fan. So no, I don't expect that, and I'm not even hoping at the moment. Probably before kickoff tomorrow, then I'll start to then go, oh, we might win today. But leading up to it, no chance. Penalties. That's probably the best chance we've got, to be honest, isn't it? It's just I struggle to see a way.
Come on.
No, probably I just struggled to see a way that we'd be able to contain them for the entire game. I know we did it once this season, but I just feel like that was such a big ask. And like, even when you're talking about the games recently, like Leeds, they dominated Leeds. I think Leeds had 2 shots and scored them both, and one of them was in the final minute. All right, Leeds had a player sent off as well, but Man City were just dominant, and they're so good at keeping possession. They're so good at closing down.
They are going to be dominated. We know that, don't we? I mean,
Yeah. So my issue is that they press, and they'll press the midfield. So if we try and break, then they're just on you, and then you've got Sissoko potentially not great under pressure.
He's not playing.
Great. I'm going to go for our midfielders.
Do you remember the last time that happened that Sissoko played a final? He killed the game in 10 minutes. Jolly lost about $5,000, and that was a disaster.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Højbjerg, not great on in possession. He keeps it very simple. He's not great under pressure. Lo Celso, I think when he's got players on him, he's a bit weak. And Ndombele, like most teams, put a few players on him, knock him about a few times, and then he just starts to hide, doesn't he? I think if we're going to have any chance tomorrow, we need Ndombele to have literally the best game of his Spurs career, because midfield will be key. Like if we're going to try and break out, we'll be under a lot of pressure. And when we try and break, we need someone in that midfield to be the one that bursts and then feeds those attacking players. And if they contain that and they prevent us from doing that, then there's no chance. So yeah, it's a big game tomorrow, but it's going to be a tough ask, and a lot of these players need to have like the best games of the season, I think, in order to get something out of it.
I think you're right. Nicholas Svensson says, when you've got Bale and Kane in your team and Son too, I suppose if he turns up, anything can happen. Let's go for the jugular like we did away to them in the Champions League. Absolutely. Of course, we're missing Super Llorente from the team, but no reason why.
and Victor Wanyama. And Danny Rose.
Well, we're not missing Danny Rose. He could play, couldn't he? HG.
And Kieran Trippier. There's quite a lot of that team that aren't at Spurs anymore.
Excuse me, Kieran Trippier was the root of all evil, according to everyone on here.
Ericsson.
Forget him. He was rubbish. John Williams says, reckon Brendan has been several times today. And I'm going to come to this from Joel Hogan. Which is, hey HG, dare I ask how you feel about the links with Lamela leaving? I like him, but the fact we might actually get a fee for him leaves me flabbergasted. Over to you.
How I feel about the links? Yes, they're always good to read, but I don't know, I feel like this is the weird thing. This is the one season where he hasn't really been injured that much. It's the one season where he's been used probably quite a bit, even if it is off the bench. We see him quite often. It hasn't been like that for a long time. And teams seem to be interested, but of course no one's got any money right now. So we may get a few million. I don't expect us to have much more than that, but I think that Lamella's going to be thinking about. We've talked about this before with other players, but it's the same with Lamella. It's his last major contract. He's probably not going to get a long-term deal with us. So if someone comes in and says you can have 3-4 years, I expect he'll want to take it. But when it comes to how much money Spurs will get, I'd be amazed more than 10 million. I'm really, really amazed. He hasn't shown enough at Spurs for anyone to really think he's worth that, I don't think. So, it's tough. There's always one team that might really value him and pay over the odds. But I don't know. I wouldn't expect it.
It would be like all your Christmases come at once, wouldn't it, HG?
Yeah, I think he needs to go. I mean, I've said this before. Anyone who's older than Kane and is an outfield player and is not called Son or Toby can go. That's pretty much how I feel. We talk about this rebuild that it's painful that we still have to go through, that means getting rid of those older squad players. If we're going to have squad players that might perform once in a blue moon, then can we have them 22, 23, 24 years old and not 27, 28, 29? Those things I think do matter. It's very easy for a lot of our squad players to just be like, to stay at Spurs and take the money. Sissoko's on that right now. Lucas Moura's on that right now. Like, we've become their retirement home, and I don't want to see that. I want to see young, hungry, ambitious players in our squad, and I don't think we have enough right now.
Okay. Well, wrapping things up a bit. I'm going to ask you. I've got three questions left. Number one, do you think there's going to be a protest tomorrow or anything of that ilk, given all the issues we've seen with Spurs in the last week and the supporters trust coming out and calling for resignations? Franco, do you think there's likely to be a protest tomorrow? I mean, it does seem that Arsenal, Chelsea, they even protest better than us.
Well, the thing is, the joke I made with midweek is that Chelsea have had plenty of practice at EDL marches, haven't they? And Arsenal have been protesting their manager and owner for about the last 6 years. So
can I just say that's the view of Franco and not the cheese room. Yeah.
You worried Toby Robinson supporters are going to phone you up, bothered. So yeah, they're bound to be able to protest better than us. It was a bit lame, wasn't it? I said the protest midweek was a bit lame.
It was rubbish. It was about 150 people, and they had bags from the club shop. I mean,
but
I'm not going to begrudge. I'm not going to belittle people that are willing to go out there and spend their time trying to campaign for something which they think is important. I'm just a bit disappointed there couldn't be more people. I mean, I wasn't interested in it. So but it's good that people bothered. It was during the week.
It was also
4:00
on a Wednesday afternoon. I mean,
exactly.
Most
that's
people
what
at work,
I mean.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, and it was mostly young lads by the looks of it. There was quite a young crowd. And Lorraine, hi to Lorraine, who does Spurs News, one of our friends. She was there, and she thought it was mostly fairly peaceful and all right. So, and I think the We Are Tottenham TV lads, I think he did plenty of interviews to TV and got the point across that we wanted to get out there. So fair enough, but it's not going to get rid of Levy. Levy's just, I imagine he's bothered. So in terms of the cup final, like your question, I think it would be stupid to do anything beforehand, because I think it would just detract away from the fact that we're in a cup final. Yes, the club have behaved ridiculously and have let everybody down, but come on, let's just try and enjoy football for 90 minutes. And then afterwards, when we lose or whatever, then you can go and do your protest then. So no, I don't think there'll be an organised protest. I think all the 2,000 fans that have got tickets will be absolutely buzzing. I can't imagine anything will happen inside the stadium either. So no, I'm hoping that we just, everyone that goes enjoys their day. And if afterwards they want to stick two fingers up to Levy inside the stadium, then by all means go for it.
Hey, She.
Well, they won't be doing that if we win. That would be interesting. Celebrate the team, and then we're cheering at the team when they lift the trophy, and then 10 seconds later going, "F you, Levy, you're bald." See, but yeah, it's going to be. I don't know. I felt really let down by what happened. I think everyone knows that I'm probably more on the I give Levy a break. I know that he's made mistakes, but I think that everyone makes mistakes, and he's made lots of good decisions for Spurs. But most of the time you can defend them. This one you can't defend. You can't defend what they chose to do, and it's rough because I feel like I've been voting for the wrong horse, and now they've come back to bite me, and I don't know how to feel. I still want to believe that what's good for Levy, even if they are just in it for money, what's good for them means the club is doing well, right? There is a link there. If we do badly, it does not help their bottom line in any sense. Yep. So obviously he wants us to do well, but that was just a ridiculous choice. Nobody thinks it's the right way to go. Nobody. Only the people that are desperate for cash.
Yep.
And the fans aren't in that. The fans are the ones who are giving the money. So it's really rough to sit there and think, well, fans, okay, not the legacy fans obviously, but the other fans around the world want to sit there and watch Spurs play Barcelona every second week. I loved going to Barcelona when we went at the end of 2018. I was desperate to go. I had to go because I knew it was the first time we played there in 30 odd years. It was a big deal. we play there again, it's not a big deal anymore. Not really.
Well,
Like it's
the
a
trip
massive
has to be
game.
earned, doesn't it? The trip has to be
Well,
earned, and
yes,
that's the
but
point.
even yeah, but even then, like we could earn it. We could finish second. We could win the Premier League, and we could get drawn against Barcelona. And because we did it a few years ago, it won't be as special to me. Like it was in my head, it was a one-off thing. I don't expect it to happen too often because I know basically, the situation that the English clubs are in. There are 6 massive clubs going for 4 spots, and there's no guarantee that Spurs are going to be one of them, despite how crap Arsenal are. So let's say it's 5 clubs are going for those 4 spots. But even if you got in, there's no guarantee you're going to draw Barcelona. So to me, it was a one-off thing. And if I knew it was going to happen, I mean, this is it. If I knew it was going to happen every year, what's so special? So I can take my wife to see Barcelona. It becomes more of a family holiday than for the football. And I don't think football fans want to travel for those reasons. Like we love the day out. We love the chance to go with our mates and spend 10 to 12 hours thinking and talking and living football. And you can't do that if it's just another destination. It takes a massive shine out of it.
No, I totally agree. My last one before think about your predictions now, because I'm going to come to you in a minute, and we'll have to be positive on this podcast. Just before we go to that, Champions League qualification, and try and keep this concise. Is it out of the question, HG?
No, it's not out of the question. It's one of those weird things that, yeah, I mean, Leicester, oddly enough, are the team that have a terrible final few games. I think they've got Chelsea, Man United, and us as their last 3.
I think Chelsea's running's pretty rough as well. Very rough, actually.
Yeah, they've got Man City and then Leicester
and Arsenal,
and I think Arsenal as well. So yeah, like you never know. But I think that Leicester right now have at least one game in hand. If they win that game, and then I think they play again before we play in the league. So if they win their next 2 games, I don't think we can catch them. And if you look at Chelsea, they're 5 points clear. We'd have to win every single game to have a chance, and I just don't think we can do that. So I do think that the Champions League, certainly finishing top 4, is highly unlikely now. It really is.
Okay, Franco.
Yeah, I think it's done. Is that concise enough?
Hey, very concise. Yeah, that's fine. Well, I think it's still on. So there you go. I'm going to put that out there, and I don't see any reason with our running versus theirs why we can't possibly do it.
Yeah, to be fair, Chelsea have got a difficult run. I said today it might all come down to the Leicester result. I'm just trying to quickly see who Liverpool have got in the next few games as well. Because
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little calculator. I'm going to work it all out, predict each result based on sort of form and league position, and see where we
are. See, Liverpool have got an easy run.
They've got an easy run, yeah. In Liverpool, yeah. I think the two, for me, the two that are probably going to make it are Leicester and Liverpool. If I was picking,
we just had for Spurs to do it, we have to win every game, and it's very cliche. But if we don't focus on us, it won't matter anyway. But I think as fans and even as the players a little bit. If results go our way, then we will start to believe. When Newcastle got their equaliser today, we all looked at the table and thought, if the West Ham Chelsea game is a draw, it's on, right? We all thought that, and then Chelsea went and won, which was probably the worst result we could have wanted. So it kind of knocks the wind out of you a little bit, and the players I don't think will be much different, but it's going to be like one game, very boring, but one game at a time. If we can. I can't remember who we have. Is it Wolves? I think we have after the cup.
I think so.
Sheffield United.
Wolves or Sheffield United.
I mean,
yeah. So but knowing Spurs, Sheffield United may well beat us. I mean, that. That's the crazy thing.
As long as we put the pressure on.
Listen, it's got to the stage where
Tottenham way, right?
Yeah, it's got to the stage where I'll just be happy that we finished above the Gooners and would be delighted if we finished above West Ham.
Franco, we are absolutely going to finish above the Goons. Don't you worry about that. They are terrible. And the one thing that does make me laugh in all of this noise is that Arteta's still in a job, and it seems to be very, like, no one's really challenging it because Kroenke's getting all the shit there now. But Arteta has done a horrible job there. A horrible job. They might still win the Europa League and all the rest of it, which would be pretty annoying. But he's done a horrible job. A horrible job. Really has.
Yeah, but this is it. I think as Spurs fans, we have to sit there and expect Arsenal to win the Europa League. Like last season, we had to sit there and watch them beat Man City and then Chelsea to win the FA Cup. 2 results they never should have done, but they managed to do it.
Yeah,
they show up. That's the awful thing with Arsenal. Was it Villarreal? They've got Emery in the semi-final. Villarreal are a decent side, but Arsenal on their day can probably get through that tie.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that Arteta is the cone boy. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So, we just have to expect the worst. Instead of thinking of the race for top 4,
it's the worst and the best actually, HG. Because if Arteta keeps his job, they just stay in obscurity for another season. So whatever. Don't worry about it.
It's not the race for top 4 as far as I'm concerned. It's the race to avoid 7th.
Because that's the Champions that's the Europa Conference, right?
If we don't win tomorrow, because obviously if we win tomorrow, then we're in it anyway. But if we don't win tomorrow, then 7th will be almost certainly. No, it will be. It definitely 7th will be the Conference League, and I don't think any of us really want to be in that. As much as it might mean games for our players, it's just not a competition that anyone is enthused about, and
certainly
it would just mean lots of travelling.
It's certainly not a competition that a top 6 club in the UK should be associated with. Finally, what's your prediction then, Franco? Are we going to turn them over tomorrow? Come on, let's have some positivity. We can do this. Give me
all right. I mean, I think the best case scenario is that we get to penalties. It's 4-4. The 5th penalty saved by Ederson, but then VAR says it was off his line, and then we score the follow up, and then whoever's 5th for Man City, who could it be? Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker, even better. Yeah.
Kyle Walker steps up and smashes it into the top tier of Wembley, and we win on pens. That'd be nice. I'll take that.
Loving it. HG, give us your prediction. Make it better than that.
My prediction is that we lose 3-0.
HG, come on.
If you want an interesting story, right? This is Spurs, right? Spurs will take the lead. We'll probably lose the lead. We'll probably think, oh, here we go again. We've had the lead, we've lost it. We get a late equaliser. It goes to extra time, and then through some kind of ridiculousness, we manage to get the win. Even if we win, it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be easy. So, but we all know it's going to tug our heartstrings too much, and we'll be biting our nails and all of those other things that are just associated with Spurs. But if you ask me as a betting man, Man City tend to turn it on, and they should win quite comfortably. As much as I know we've got good players, I can't get past that. I want to. Believe me, usually I do want to get things right, but in this case, I'd love to be wrong. But I just,
Well, look,
I just want an exciting game. That's really it. I just don't want it to be boring, or I don't want it to be like Man City scored 2 goals and then just contain us for the rest of the game. So, dull like that. And I watched them play against Chelsea. That was such a boring game. I just want it to be interesting, end to end, plenty of goals. It'd be good.
I'm going to say we're going to win 3-2. We're going to win 3-2. You're going to believe. Kane's going to be fit. He's been nursing that ankle for a week. He's fine. There's no problem with Kane's foot. He's going to score 2. Son's going to score 1. VAR are going to rule out a goal for City because that is just what they do. And we're all going to be forgetting about the Super League and moving on. Because we've got self-aware when the year ends in 1.
Do you realise that the game I basically explained, I've just realised, is basically a carbon copy of the 81 Cup final replay, where we went ahead and then they scored 2, and then we got back, and then we got the winner with Ricky Villa. So, do we have an Argentinian capable of knifing through the Man City defence?
Yeah,
I think we probably do, and he's on loan at Elche. Paulo Gazzaniga is not going to be that guy. But
Lamella will do that, and then he'll do that, and then score a Rabona.
Was I the only one thinking Lo Celso at this point?
Yeah, of course you were.
Right, guys, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will be back post-match, straight after the final whistle. Franco won't be. He's going to be, nursing a sore head or whatever he does on a Sunday.
Planning an epic pod.
He's going to be planning his podcast. But I will be back. Will you be back with me, HG?
No, I'm on the pod. You're going to have Seb and Brendan.
Screw you all. I will.
It'll be you and drunk Brendan just being drunk. That was a good game, wasn't it?
I think you'll find Seb's joining us as well to bring some sanity to the.
So 2 drunks and an angry man, yeah.
2 drunks and an angry man. What could possibly go wrong? It'll be must-see viewing. We're going to be live after the final whistle. Please do join us for some discussion and, like I say, rant and rave, and let us know your opinion. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you, Franco.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you, Mr. HG.
You are always welcome, caller.
And in the meantime, come on, Spurs. We've got a cup final. Come on.
Come on, you Spurs.